Can start the prayer.
Yes, Mataji. Om Agnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vande'ham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamallam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. You missed one stanza. Vancha kalpatarubhrishya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. You missed that. No problem. Yeah. And one thing, just when you are putting, don't put your phone like this. Put it like this. Then the whole screen will come. Okay. Just turn your phone. Okay. No, you have reversed your phone. You put it like this. Ah, nice. Now it is correct. Okay. So, as every time we are doing, we will revise. We will just discuss the question answers once. Okay. Just now I have released the. Question answers. So we'll revise the. We'll just discuss about the question answers first. Like this second chapter is very important. See, if most of you have attended SSR class, our Science of Self, first 12 sessions, what I have taken. Actually, if you have understood those 12 chapters, you have understood Bhagavad Gita. And now you have already listened to Sumna Mataji's 18 chapters. Now, if you understand second chapter, Jitesh, sit properly. Bhagavad Gita is a sacred book. We are doing a religious work and a very sincere work. The way we sit today, you are going to understand what is how important all our act. When we are listening to something very important, we should sit straight and attentively. Okay, and I want all the cameras to be on. Okay, and the second chapter, Krishna covers all the points, but to make someone understand, at least to make us understand what it is, he has elaborately given it in the next chapters. So now, my last week's questions. When will a Kshatriya not incur sin in fighting? See, it is actually, I have said, is this the one? Yeah. Okay, correct. Actually, even though I said a Kshatriya not incur sin in fighting, the correct question should be, when will anybody not incur sin while doing their prescribed duties? That means, when will a Brahman not incur sin? When will a Vaisya not incur sin? And any Varna people. So, what is the responsibility of a prescribed duty of a Kshatriya? The prescribed duty of a Kshatriya is to fight. That means, even though he fights and kills lot of people also, he won't incur sin. So the third one, fight for the sake of fighting without considering the results. That means Duryodhana has fought for the sake of kingdom, whereas we can fight for the sake of happiness. Anything where that when we look for the result of our action, we incur sin or we incur karma. Here, when we do it as a duty, then we don't incur sin. So the third one is the right answer. Then the next question is, what is the earnings which will protect one from the most dangerous type of fear? So this also we have discussed many times. What is the earnings? What will keep us safe? Is it material? That means if we have lot of earnings, will we not have any fear? Or if we have lot of political influence, will we not fear? If you have lot of spiritual knowledge, then or spiritual earnings, then God, because we know that God is going to take care of us, we will not have any fear. Next one is, what is the meaning of the word Vyavasayatmika Buddhir? Just now, this is what I told. Vyavasayatmika Buddhir. That is 1 point concentration. Whatever we are doing, we should have 100% direct concentration only on that work. Then nothing else should be seen. Like many times we have talked about the Arjuna, how Arjuna used to learn his education. You know the story, no? Once when Arjuna was learning learning how to put the bow and arrows, once Drona has asked, there was a tree on which a bird was sitting. So Dronacharya, their guru, wanted them to hit the eye of the bird. So Dronacharya has asked them, what is that you are seeing there? Then one said, I see a tree, I see leaves, I see stems, I see a bird, and that's what they said. And somebody said, little more improved person says, I see a bird there. But when asked, what is that you see to Arjuna? Arjuna said, I see the eye of a bird. So his 1 point concentration is only on the eye of the bird. That is how we should have our concentration. Whatever is our goal, only that should be focused, nothing else. That only then we will be able to achieve the result. How will one attain Vyavasayatmika Buddhi? How do you attain this? Do we attain this by sitting and doing meditation? Normally people say that we get this concentration by doing meditation. And we can also think if we have belief on Krishna, it will come. No, it will not come like that. We should have a bona fide guru. All of you know who is a bona fide guru? Does all of you know who is a bona fide guru? Just put it in the chat box. An yes or no? Does all of you know?
Or can you repeat?
Do you know who is a bona fide guru?
Who came in discipline in the same parampara which Krishna said?
Yes, the guru should have a disciplining parampara. That means if you go and ask our guru, who is your guru? He should tell his guru, his guru, his guru, and the origin should be from Krishna. Only then he is a bona fide guru. Somebody is saying that I just got the knowledge out of blue. That means yesterday night while sleeping, I got Jnanodayam, or my guru got Jnanodayam, and so they have given me all this. No, it won't work. They should have a hierarchy. Mean a guru should know who is their guru. That guru should know who is their guru. So here the answer is somebody has given Dronacharya. Dronacharya is not the answer. Dronacharya is guru of Arjuna, all these Kauravas and Pandavas. Who is a bona fide guru means a guru who comes in the parampara is called a bona fide guru. Okay, what is the result of flowery words of Vedas? That means when we study Vedas, they say you do this puja, you will get lot of richness. You do this ajnam, all your sins will go, and you do this, you will go to Swargam. We will have lot of information like that. But they are all temporary. The results are what the results, what the Vedas tell are correct only, but they are temporary. They are very luring, very important. When we say, if you do this yajna, we are going to get a lot of education, then we will definitely do, because they are very tempting. But what should be our main aim? Main one is elevation to heavenly planets. No recycle of birth and death. Again, we'll get into the cycle of birth and death. What does the determination for devotional services to Lord does not take? When does the determination for devotional service to Lord does not take place? When there is a total belief in Krishna, when there is too much of attachment to So when there is too much of attachment to the sense enjoyment, then we cannot have devotional service. There won't be any determination in doing the services to Lord Krishna. What are the three modes of material nature? All of us know this. Is it the three modes of material nature is Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Gunam. They are the three modes of material nature. And the other options what I have given are the result of this gunas, lust, anger, laziness. And lust, anger comes out of rajogunam. Laziness is a result of tamogunam. Akarma, sakarma, vikarma comes out of these three gunas. Then by becoming transcendental to these three modes of material nature, what does one achieve? By becoming transcendental, what will achieve? We get sattva gunam. That means when we do this sattva gunam with transcendental, that means when we do, we know this, normally we think that sattva gunam is very good, because sattva gunam is only goodness. But that goodness, what is that goodness? We think whatever we are doing should be good, but we don't think that it should be for the enjoyment of Krishna. Only when we do it with transcendental feeling, then it becomes a Suddha Sattvam. That is what will take us back to Godhead. What should be the realization when one performs one prescribed duty? What should be the realization? What should be our feeling when we are doing a prescribed duty? One should never consider one. This is the most important thing. When we are doing anything we do, first thing we think is, I have done it, I could do it, I got it, I did it, is what we always think. But we should never think like that. We should never think that when we achieve something, we are the cause of the actions. We should never think like that. We should always remember that it is because of the blessings of Krishna we could do it. How can one free oneself from the result of work in the material world? We have to do work in the material world. We have studied very clearly that thinking that we are going to accumulate karma, we should not stop working. We should do karma. So how will we not free from the karma? How will we get free from the material karma is when we do devotional service to whatever karma we are doing. We should keep Krishna in mind and work for his happiness. Then we will not get any karma. We will be free from our karma. These are the answers. Okay. So we shall start our session. Whoever keeps their videos on only will get the chance to read. But you have to be very clear. Because just imagine, if I start talking without keeping my video on, you are not comfortable, no? So similarly, I am also not comfortable. Yeah, Rohan Prasad.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Arjuna Huvacha Stita Prajanya
Prajnasya
स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भास समाधिस्तस्य केशवाः स्थिताधिः किं प्रभासेत किमसित व्रजेत किम. Translation. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one?
What are the symptoms?
What are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in, of the whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk?" Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So till now in the second chapter, what have we done? We have, what is that we have covered in the first 10 slokas? Arjuna continued his doubts, and from 10 to 30th sloka, Krishna explained about the signs of soul. That means Krishna has told about the body, soul. That the soul cannot be destroyed and it is eternal and body is temporary. And then from 31 to 37, he has explained that about sakama karma. That means expecting results. The result of what we are going to do. Mean enjoy. That he told Arjuna that in either case you are going to enjoy. Because Arjuna was doubtful that if he kills all those people, he will incur sin. He said, no, in both the cases, either you lose the war or you win the war, you are going to enjoy. Because if you lose the war, you will go to moksha. You will get moksha. So you will be happy there. And if you win the war, you are going to enjoy the kingdom. That is what he told. And then from 38 to 53, he told about doing the prescribed duty with knowledge of God, sakarma, and with detachment for Krishna, attachment to Krishna. That's what he has told. And because he said doing a prescribed duty is the most important thing for anybody to reach Krishna. Then in 53rd sloka, he has introduced a word, Sthita Prajna, right? Yeah, Sthita Prajna. 53. No, here only has. And here he has said someone in bhakti will have fixed intelligence and trance. So now in 54th sloka, Arjuna again started talking. Till now he said, I am not going to fight. But when Arjuna explained, Krishna explained all this, now again he started asking for new doubts. So what is the doubt? Arjuna said, oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? So Krishna asked, like Krishna was telling that we should be a good, like an yogi, we should do things in transcendental mode. So here he said, he named him as Sthita Prajna and said, how does he mean when he says how does he talk, how does he speak? It doesn't mean his language or his accent. How does he talk means how does he talk obediently? Does he talk very arrogantly? And what are his qualities? What are the qualities one required to get liberated? Because we are always talking about doing our karma to get liberated out of this world. So how does the talk? That means how does he talk when he is angry? How does he talk when he is in a calm mood? How does the main problem any one of us faces is how to control our senses. That means after listening to Bhagavad Gita class, we all decide yes, I'm not going to get control. I'm not going to, from now, I'm not going to get tempted for anything. So we take such kind of a decisions. But again, when we see something, we get tempted. That means we don't have control on our sense organs. Okay. Whoever has already read the sloka, please lower your hand. Whoever have not read the slokas, raise your hand so that I can call them in that order. Okay. So how to control our senses is the question. How does he speak means when he's angry, how does he speak? When he's in a depressed mood, how does he speak? What kind of languages he use? What does he sit means? It is not the sitting. How does he behave? How will be his body language? How does he walk means his body language? And the main doubt what Arjuna has here is how does he have his sense control? Because all of us, that is where we fail. We all have lot of desire to do good things. All of us normally feel like doing only good things. But what happens is because we lack sense control, we miss doing things. So here Arjuna has asked, how does a person who is a sthita prajna behave? How does he control his senses is the main question. Okay. Now, Vishnupriya.
श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रजाहाति यथा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness.
So here again, Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna is telling, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desires for sense gratification, that means for sense happiness. When we see something beautiful, our eyes are happy. When you hear a beautiful music, your ears are happy. When we eat something very nice, our tongue is happy. Like that, when we have control on it, no desires for our sense happiness, which arise from the material concoction, the material attachments, and when his mind thus purified, that means when we have no attachment towards the material desires, then our mind is purified. When our mind is pure, how will something become pure? Our heart will become pure only when Krishna comes and sits there. He's always there, but when we are very conscious that Krishna is there and when we think about him, then only our mind and heart becomes pure. Find satisfaction in the self alone. Then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. So here it's very clear that a person who gives up all the material desires of mind, satisfied with himself, as a spiritual being, that means he should think that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, I have come from Krishna, and so I should always be in the mood of serving Krishna. Never we should forget that we are the spirit soul. Such a person is called sthita prajna. That means when will this happen? When our soul is highly developed. That means our soul is a premature soul. Not premature in the sense it forgets that it's himself, that he is a part and parcel of Krishna. He thinks that he is independent body and always looks for enjoyment. So when we get that consciousness as a servant of the Supreme Lord, and that God is Atmaram, that means God is always self-satisfied. That means God doesn't have any desires. He is always self-satisfied. A devotee is also a Atmaram, because we are part and parcel of this. That means we should always think we are self-satisfied, we are happy, no desires. So when we think that we are happy and no desires, then what happens is we don't have any desires, we don't have any sense, we will have sense control, and then we become Atmaram. So So, this is the answer. Okay. Next one. We'll go to the next one. Point. Charan Sai. I request one thing. Every time I'm telling you know which slokas I am going to refer that week. So please practice reading those slokas, and then after little practice, you raise your hand. Then you'll be able to read them better. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Charan Sai, tell me. Read.
Dukkesvan Dvignamana Shukesu Vigataspraha Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Stiha Dirmuniruchyate.
Yeah.
Translation. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, are elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind.
Steady mind. Okay.
Steady mind.
So, yeah, one who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst of three-folded miseries, or elated when there is happiness. That means when he is either very sorrowful or very happy, his mind is not disturbed, and who is free from attachment. He should be attached only to Krishna and to nobody else. Free of anger and fear is called a sage of steady mind. Okay. So that's very clear. So 5.56 and 5.7 we'll discuss together. Okay. Yeah. Harshit?
Mataji, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, Uma.
Yah sarvatra na bhishna tattat prapya subhashanam nabhi nandhati
Na vinastati.
nadveshti tasya prajna
Pratisthita.
pratisthita. Translation. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever God or evil may obtain, neither praising it nor depraising it, is firmly fixed in a perfect knowledge.
Yes, the 5.6 and 5.7 are very similar. So here also he says, in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain. See, being a human beings will sometimes have happen, good will happen, sometimes bad will happen. In both the cases, you should not be affected, neither praising it nor depressing it. So somebody praises us, excellent, we are very happy. And somebody criticizes, we are very down. Is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Only when will this happen? When we are firmly fixed in the perfect knowledge, this will happen. Okay. Actually, both these slokas give the same thing. So here he is that very clearly saying that a person who has no attachment to the bodily enjoyment, then he will not have. That means he should not respond to happiness. That means somebody praises, he should not feel happy. Somebody criticizes, he should not feel bad. Similarly, something very bad happens. Then when will this come? When we understand that we are the body and soul, and when we understand that whatever is happening to us, Krishna is not a bad person. Krishna doesn't have grudge on anybody. Krishna, we should never think when something bad happens, that normally our tendency is, when something bad happens to us, the first question that comes is, why to me only? Why everybody in this world are happy except me? And when something good happens to us, we never think that why this good has happened to me. That time we are very happy. So we should be very clear that either a happiness or a sorrowfulness is happening only because of our karma, previous life's karma, or the karma we are accumulating in this. So, so that part we should be very clear. So, he should be an impersonalist, and but it doesn't mean that he should be like a stone. That means not reacting to anybody. If somebody dies, just stand like that. Something very happy thing happens, stand like that. No, he should have a very good heart. He should have a lot of compassion on what, not on material things. When somebody is going away from Krishna, you should feel bad for him and then help him to bring him back to Krishna. Similarly, when there is a need, his heart should be very soft. Normally, they say that devotee's heart is very soft. Only when that is when they can attach themselves to Krishna. But again, being soft doesn't mean that you get attached to sense enjoyment. So this part we should be very clearly. We should never be attached to sense happiness, sense gratification. The attachment should be to a transcendental happiness and not material happiness. Whoever has read, please do lower your hands. Dikshit Prasad, you want to read? But not unmuted. 1 minute.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Wait. Yeah.
Yada samharate chayam kurmonganiv sarvashah indriyanindriyake istebhyo kriya tasya prajna pratishtita. Translation: one who is able to withdraw his senses from senses objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, it firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna. See, have all of you, any one of you know how a tortoise looks and how he responds? A tortoise has a very hard shell on it. I'm sure all of you know about it. Tortoise it has small legs and a small head. So the tortoise keeps moving. And the inside part of the tortoise is very smooth, very delicate. So the tortoise normally keeps moving with its legs and its head outside. But the moment it senses some danger, immediately it withdraws itself. That means that it pulls its legs and head into the shell. And then when an animal comes and hits, what does it happen? It only gets the harder portion on the hard portion of the tortoise, and no harm will happen to it. So when it sees a danger, that's how a tortoise protects itself. So here Krishna says it's very important to have sense control. How does we have? The way a tortoise controls its senses and then withdraws itself and then becomes nobody can, nothing outside can affect it, can destroy it, or can cause harm to it. That way, even if we have control, when something tempting happens, we should be able to control ourselves. Then what happens is the external sense enjoyments will not hurt us or will not affect us. It's not hurting, it is affecting. They will not affect us. Yeah, 2.59. Dikshit Prasad, you have read, so please lower your hand. Krishna Priya. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Translation: though the embodied soul may be distracted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remain. But ceasing such engagements
By experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
Yes. So here, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense enjoyments remains. But seizing such enjoyments by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. So when we are very conscious about what is happening around us, it becomes very easy to control ourselves. I'll tell you a small example of mine. I'll tell you a small example of mine. See, our family, we eat in our family, we used to eat non-vegetarian from my childhood. But after marriage, when my husband was preaching that non-vegetarian should not be eaten, and then because killing animals and eating is wrong, so as a good wife, I stopped. So once I stopped, I mean, I had no taste for it. That is, it's not that I'm boasting about myself. A decision taken is a decision taken. I was never ever tempted towards non-vegetarian because I have taken this decision with a respect and love towards my husband. I have taken it, and I believed in his consciousness that killing somebody and eating is not good. But we were eating eggs. I was eating eggs. Then, after I got into Krishna consciousness, when Prabhuji was taking a class, then he was explaining, then he said, egg might not, the vegetarian eggs, the so-called vegetarian eggs might not become chicken. They may not get into life, but as far as the egg is concerned, it has no life. I mean, it won't, cannot survive long. If we don't use them, it will get spoiled. That's fine. But a hen which lays the eggs, what does it do? It lays the eggs with the consciousness of a mother. That means when a mother delivers a baby, how does she deliver? With the highest love she delivers. That means just when the baby is born, immediately she feels that her life is the baby. So much of love a mother has on the baby, just born baby. If the next second the baby is not seen, the mother gets mad. She will go, I mean, she forgets all the relationships in the world and then looks for the baby. Similarly, the hen also is a life. It has got its feelings. So after, when laying its egg, it doesn't know that its egg doesn't become a chicken, or it gets rotten and gets spoiled if it is not eaten. It, as far as it is concerned, the egg it is its baby. So when the eggs are taken away from there for selling it, it doesn't know what it is. So it looks for its egg. And then the way a human mother struggles and undergoes torture for its baby, the hen also undergoes. This is what my Prabhuji has told. And that was the end. After that, I just could not eat. And then I thought that was a time when I was just getting into Krishna consciousness. I thought, what is this? If I stop everything like this, how will it be? No, I will not give up. Like, let me eat. And so I asked my cook to prepare egg curry, and then she prepared, and I kept it in my plate. But thank you, Krishna. He was so merciful to me. I just could not put it in my mouth because when I see that egg, I see the hen. I see the struggle the hen undergoes. That means I see myself in it as a mother. How will it be if my son is not for, even though my children are grown up, even though if I hear a bad news about them, any small news, my heart beats, my stomach moves. So even the hen is the same. How can I cause such kind of a danger to the hen, torture to the hen? That was the feeling that developed in me, and that's it. Whatever I have put in my plate, I have just kept it aside, and that's it. After that, never it. I don't have, because why I have taken this example is, it is getting here. Krishna is telling about, you have to get a higher taste. That means when you like, you are a diabetic person, and but still you want to eat gulab jamuns. When will you stop eating gulab jamuns? When you taste something better than that, you will stop eating it. So here, what did I taste? In the place of eggs, I have got the taste of the beautiful feelings of a mother or the torturous feeling of a mother, which is a better taste, better feeling than the enjoyment I get on my tongue. See, definitely the enjoyment what I get on my tongue is much inferior to the enjoyment I have, to the attachment I have towards my children. So this is the higher taste. So the moment I got that, no more interest in eating the eggs. So like that, whenever you want to stop something, just don't stop it for the sake of stopping it. You have to stop it by understanding the reason why you should stop it. If you understand the reason why you are going to stop it, you will never eat it again or never do that activity again in your life. That means you are watching useless movies, and you can have movies, you can play, you want to play, rather than playing on the cell phone. You have to, as a children, you should go out into the playground and you have to play so vigorously that you sweat, because of which you will have physical exercise, you will have better mind, you will have friends and lot of enlightenment in life. So you should understand this. By playing into the mobile, what do I get? I get some little enjoyment, but I'm developing obesity. I'm not having any physical exercises, because of which my mind won't work, because of which I cannot study. My intelligence will go down, because of which I'll become a dumb character. Like this, if you start analyzing, you will understand the negative effects of playing, sitting in the house, and the positive effects of going outside and playing. So when you really understand this, you can never sit in the house and play video games. So that way, whatever you do, even in the studying, why you should study is something what you should understand, not for getting marks. You should understand the end result of the study. So that way, whatever we are doing, we should have a higher taste. Then all these small enjoyments, what we are doing now, will go. When we every time we buy 10 dresses, we want the 11th dress. But we understand the purpose of wearing dress, the purpose of wasting money, why, what are we doing? Then it will become very easy to stop from sense enjoyment. It's not that easy, but always go with a reasoning why you are asked to do. Whenever you are doing something, have a reason for it. Why am I doing? Is it waste of time? Is it useful to me? Is it useful for my growth in life, spiritual growth? And at your age, you should look at material growth also, which will finally lead into the spiritual growth. So here, all this material enjoyment is entangling us towards this material this. So you should have very clear understanding of why we are doing, why should we do, and why we should not do. Okay. So the easiest thing to stop having material enjoyment, which is a very difficult one, is having higher taste. Okay, right. Okay, 2.6. Krishnapriya has read, Vishnupriya has said, Roshan has read, Dikshit Prasad has read, Charan Sai has read, Ashit has read. Okay, Charan Sai, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji.
एततो
ह्यपि कौन्तेय परुषया विपश्चिता इन्द्रियाणि प्रमातीनि हरन्ति प्रसभामना. Translation: the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them.
Yes, the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. That means a person who has a lot of control, who wants to control, and who have done a lot of control also, For them, suddenly they lose the control on the senses. Why? Because it's not that easy. That we have to be very clear. Even the Sthita Prajna also, for some time he might be, but suddenly he might lose control. So it is very important. So 2.61. Harshit?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Tani sarvani samyamya yuktas astita matbhara vasehi yas yandri yes yandriyanani tasya prajna pratishtita. A translation: one who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence.
Yeah. Now, for the first time, Krishna said, you have to put your consciousness on me. Till now, he has never addressed himself. He was only in general telling. So now he is telling one who restrains his senses, that means who controls his senses, keeping them under full control and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. So a person who keeps them under control is called a man of control. So how will we get this? We get here the first time he's telling, put your consciousness on me. That means Krishna he is first time declaring himself as God. Till now he has never said that. So here he is telling, you have to have bhakti to put your consciousness on me. Then only you will become a man of steady intelligence. Over a period of time you will become, not just like that. That means when you people start learning the cycle, day one you have not cycled it perfectly. You must have fell down, you must have got all your knees hurt, and lot of things must have happened. Even when you start writing also, first time you write lot of mistakes. Only on practicing we do. When a small baby starts walking, how many times does the baby fall down? Similarly, even when we start practicing it, lot of times we fail. But how do we do this? Only when you put our consciousness on Krishna, then we will achieve this. So here I have taken the slokas from 3 Mahabharatas. All the people who have done SSP know these slokas. So okay, all the knows. So unless you switch on your videos, Krishna.
Yes, Mat. I
Yeah.
cannot see properly, Mataji. Screen. Yes, Mataji. Now I can see.
Yeah. Savai Mansa Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Savai mana Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane karau harer mandiram arjanadisho shrutim chakarachita satkatodaye mukunda lingalaya darshane drisho तद्भृत्यगात्या स्पर्शेङ्गसङ्गमं घ्राणं च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्य रसनं तदर्पिते पादौ हरे क्षेत्रपदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेशपदाभिवन्दने कामं सदास्येन तु कामकाम्यया यतोत्तमश्लोकजनाश्रयारति.
Okay, I'll read the translation. Yeah, so here, why I have taken this is Ambarish Maharaj. All of you learned these slokas. So Ambarish Maharaj, how did he control? Being a Maharaj also, he had a lot of control on himself. How did he do it? He's explained. This is how, by doing things, by seeing enjoyment in the right way, we can get our sense enjoyment controlled. Maharaj Ambarish always engaged his mind in meditating upon the lotus feet of Krishna. He never tried to meditate on his mind. He was meditating on Krishna. That means he was always thinking about Krishna. His words in describing the glories of Lord. What is he speaking? He is not talking about his great achievements, not about his glories being a king. He was talking about the glories of Lord. His hands in cleansing the Lord's temple. Being a king also, he was doing the cleaning job as a in the temple, and his ears in hearing the words spoken by Krishna or about Krishna, always hearing about Krishna, and by doing his duties as a king, he was always trying to think and talk about Krishna. He engaged his eyes in seeing the deity of Krishna, Krishna's temples and Krishna's places like Mathura and Vrindavan. He engaged his senses in touching the bodies of Lord's devotees. He engaged his sense of smell in smelling the fragrance of tulsi offered to Lord, and he engaged his tongue in tasting Lord's prasadam. Here he is talking, we are talking in Srimad Bhagavatam, all the sense organs. So he has talked about his eyes, he has talked about his ears, nose, tongue, hands, touch, everything. He engaged his legs in walking to his holy places and temples of the Lord. Lord, his head in bowing down before the Lord, and all his desires in serving the Lord. He did not have desires like expanding his kingdom, and giving all of them to his children, nor kings can marry any number of wives. So he was not planning to marry a lot of people, have a lot of children, and not on the material enjoyment. And all his desires in serving the Lord. 24 hours a day, indeed, Maharaja Ambarish never desired anything of his own sense gratification. He never thought about himself. He enjoyed all his senses in devotional service in various engagements related to Lord. So this is the way to increase attachment to Lord and be completely free from all the material desires. So here king can have lot of material desires, but he has seen enjoyment in serving Lord Krishna. This way we can always control. That means he has taken a better, higher taste of enjoyment. So that's how he could control himself. Yeah, 2.62. Rohan Prasad? 6.2 or 6.3? Yeah, you want to read Jitesh 6.2? Okay, read.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangaste supajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate. Translation. While contemplating the object of a senses, a person develops attachment for them. For such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises.
Very good.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here we have to understand the reason for all our problems is lust. That means desires. While contemplating the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them. That means suppose I see a beautiful article in the shop, I want to buy it. That means I have developed an attachment towards that object. From that such attachment, lust developed means. That means the desire has developed. And from lust, when I have developed a desire, and when I don't get it, what happens? I get angry. And when anger comes, what will happen? The worst things happen. So 2.62 and 6.3 goes together. So whoever has read, please lower your hands. Yeah, Charan sir.
Yes, Mataji.
Oh.
क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. From anger, translation. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment. of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool.
Yeah. So here, as I told previously, from lust, desire comes. When desire, you get from desire, lust comes, and from lust, you get, when you don't get it, you get anger. From anger, a complete disillusion comes. When we get anger, what happens? We forget what is good, what is bad. This is very common. All of us know. Sometimes when we get anger, we talk such a bad thing, and later we'll think, "Arey, why did I talk this?" And sometimes when you get anger, you hit your friends. Then later you think, why did I do this? I should not have done. This is not correct. But because of anger, we delusion, bewilderment of memory. That means we get into such a state of mind where we forget to think what is good and what is bad. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. That means we forget what is good, what is bad. We just that analysis of doing good and bad. Lot of murders or very big crimes take place in the when there is lot of confusion, or when there is lot of anger, they do it. Later they repent. Why did I do this for such a small thing? In villages also, for small things they fight. Why villages, colleges also, students, they fight for long small things, and the fight becomes so big, and their total life will be spoiled. So that way, what is the root cause for this? The desire is the root cause of this. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. That means even though spiritually we grow very high, the moment we start getting desires, we forget everything. And then all the steps we have taken and gone there will be gone. Suppose a person who has really controlled himself but did lot of things, and for some small reason he fails and does something. What happens? He just becomes a criminal or somebody and goes into the jail, and then he becomes a very bad person. Okay, so here we have to be very careful that the desire, lust comes from lust. When we don't and when lust, when there's a desire, when the lust comes, when we fulfill our lust, again the desire starts. One more desire will start. And if it is not, that lust is not fulfilled, we get anger. So both are dangerous. And always getting it always, all the desires cannot be fulfilled. Sometimes they get fulfilled. When it is fulfilled, we look for the next one. When it is not fulfilled, we get anger. So when we get anger, we lose our mental control. When we lose our mental control, that is the end of our life. So again, we fall back to the lowest thing. See, in Haridas Thakur, a very great devotee of Krishna, once he was a great devotee, and the king wanted to change his mind. So what he has done is, he has sent a lady to him saying, you let him develop love on you, and then he will lose love on Krishna. So that lady started, this man was sitting and doing chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He was seriously sitting and doing. So that lady comes and start dancing before him. So he sees, and then she says, yeah, she calls him. She says, wait, I'll come. Don't worry. Let me complete this chanting, this 10 rounds, and then I'll come. And then he completes. Like that, he keeps on continuing. And that lady waits there for 2 days, 3 days. And then after 2-3 days, when she was associated with such a pure devotee, she herself changes into a devotee. So that's how life should be. So if this man has lost his control, what would have happened? He would have fallen into the material world, because he did not lose the control, and the lady was associated with the pure devotee. She became a devotee. That is where we should never lose our control. We'll go fast. Okay, 3.64. Yeah, Krishna, please read.
विमुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरान् आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादामधिगच्छति. Translation. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord.
Yeah, so but a person free from all attachments. But we have already discussed that we can be free from attachments doesn't mean that you have to be hard like a stone. You have to have compassion, but we should not develop love on material things. And aversion and able to control. Aversion means I've told no the example. But when I understood how a hen suffers, I developed aversion on eating eggs. So I gave it up. That way you should develop aversion to control his sense through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of Lord Krishna. Okay. So, so we should have lot of mind regulative controls. We should have control on our mind. Okay. Krishna Priya, now that you have read, please lower your hand. Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One second Mataji, please. प्रसादे सर्वदुःखनं हनिर् आसोऽयपजायते प्रसन्ना चेतासो हय असु बुद्धिः पर्याविष्टस्ते. Translation. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence is no longer in such certified consciousness. An intelligent is soon well established. Hare Krishna Mataji. Down. Mataji, you are in mute, Mataji. Mataji, your phone is mute.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. So, sorry. So when we develop, so when we are totally convinced that Krishna conscious is the ultimate thing, and when we are satisfied, we become a self-satisfied person. And once intelligence, and once we become that, our intelligence will never get bewildered, and never we lose our consciousness. That and then we will not get tempted towards the senses. Okay. 2.66.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Where did you go, Harshit?
Mataji, actually I was having network issues, so I was not able to unmute.
Yeah.
Naste buddhir ayuktasya na chuyuktasya bhavana na cha bhavayatha shante ashantasya kutha sukam. Translation. One should one who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have either transcendental intelligence or a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace?
Yeah. One who is not connected with the Supreme Personality of God, we can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be happiness without peace? See, on SSR day 1, we have discussed this point. Are we happy? So, and we have also discussed that our any happiness that we are having in this material world is only temporary. Today you are very happy that you got first rank in the class. How many days will that happiness be there? Until again your next, again the next test are declared, again you are under tension, the happiness is gone. Now you want to retain that, and then you are again tension and for tests. So for similarly, you buy a new clothes, that day you are happy. Tomorrow you see somebody else wearing better clothes, your happiness is gone. That way your happiness is never fulfilled, it is all temporary. And only when we have our consciousness attached to Krishna, only then we will have happiness. So we have neither transcendental strengths, so how can there be any happiness without peace? So we should have peace of mind. 2.67. Yeah. Who is reading this? Dikshit?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
There is resound in your phone, so just don't switch on two phones. Okay, yeah, read.
Indriyanam hi charatam yanmanon nuvijhiyate tad asya harati prajnam vayurnavanam ivam bhasi. Translation: as a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavad Pranam.
As a strong wind sweeps away the boat, that means a boat, it keeps coolly going in the water as long as there is no strong wind. The moment a strong wind comes onto the water, the boat can no more be in the control. I mean, however a person tries to row it and control it, it can never be controlled. So our roaming senses are also like the wind on which the mind focuses, can carry away the mind's intelligence. So we should have a steady mind. That is what he is very clearly saying. And also here Prabhupada has taken one more example of horse. Like he's telling our senses are like horses and the ropes are mind. When there are 5 horses and there will be 10, each horse will have a rope. And so the horses are our senses and the ropes are our mind. So our mind, the senses, whatever you see, the horses, if they are transmitted to the mind only, the problem. If you can control, the mind can control it, there is no problem. And then the Saradi is the intelligence. So if we, with the intelligence, if we don't stop it there, whatever the mind says, I want this, if the intelligence can stop it, and there the passenger is the soul. So the soul, the passenger, is very happy. If that doesn't happen, whatever senses sees, if the mind takes it and the intelligence doesn't stop, the soul will suffer. It's not all the 5 senses also, horses also need not get affected. If just one horse gets affected, one horse goes that side or this side also, finish, we are into problem. Here it is the other way also. Intelligence is support, not the other way. Intelligence is supported by the mind and mind by the senses. So here the horses are the senses which have to be under always controlled by our intelligence and mind. And so how will that happen? Only by regulating our mind in the Krishna consciousness. Only that is the only way we can control it. 2.678. Yeah. Whoever has not raised, read much, raised. Okay. Krishna Priya, yeah, read.
Yes, Mataji. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrahitani sarvashah indriyanindriyartebhyas yasya prajna pratishtita. Translation. Therefore, O mighty army, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence.
Therefore, O mighty armed, that means Arjuna. Arjuna is mighty armed. So one whose senses are restrained from the objects, from their objects, is certainly of steady intelligence. That means a person who can control his senses, is a sthita prajna. He has a steady intelligence. So we should always have our mind and intelligence. Our mind not get distracted by the senses or sense objects. So how will we get this? We have to do a lot of practice. Whatever desire that comes into our mind, immediately we should not think of getting it satisfied. We should just evaluate it and think whether it is really required or not. 2.69. Jitesh, you want to read? Yeah, 1 minute, Jitesh. Where is my cursor? Yeah, Jitesh, you can read.
Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagaritam yidati
Yasyam jagrati.
samyasyam
Yasyam jagrati.
yasyam jagrati bhutani sanashiya
Pasyato munte.
niha. Translation. What is night for all beings is the time of awaking for the self-controlled, and the time of awaking for all being in night for the
Introspective stage.
introspective stage.
Yeah, this is very important. What is night for all living beings is the night of awakening for the self-controlled. That means normally we who are very much entangled in the material nature, when do we get up? We get up very late. That means after the sun comes and it becomes very bright, we get up. And then half the day is over there. But you know what time sages get up? They go to bed at 8 o'clock in the night and they get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. That means in the midnight. And that is when there is no disturbance at all. See, once you get up after 9 o'clock, what happens 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock? Immediately, a lot of disturbance around the world keeps disturbing us. Lot of people keep moving in that around, lot of phone calls come, lot of messages come, and our school time is over. And then a lot of things we keep remembering and we feel like doing it. But if you just do it at the very, very early morning, when there is no disturbance at all, that is the time, right time to do. You normally sages, they get up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then for 2-3 hours without any disturbance, they do their meditation. They complete all their spiritual activities by the time the Mangala Harati at 5 o'clock is over, and then they start doing their material activities. So they have whatever spiritual activities they are doing, they have total self-controlled mind and they have no disturbance. So suppose the chanting we want to do, which we don't do early morning and we think I'll do it in the night. What happens in the night? We remember all the works what we are yet to do in the daytime. So what happens? Our mind can never be concentrated there. So as our mind can never be concentrated there, we will never do the chanting or meditation. Whatever we want to do, we can never do. So, and the time of awakening for all beings is night. For the introspective sages, that introspective, a person who knows himself, who knows his heart, for him, the time when material people like us sleep, that is the time of awakening for them. So if you also want to study well and achieve. You should not get up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. You should get up before the sunset, much before the sunset. And then if you are doing chanting, you have to finish your chanting. If you are doing studying, you have to finish your study. And then you have to go to school with a fresh mind. You get up at bus, your school bus comes at 8 o'clock, you get up at 7:30, immediately your mother just puts something in your mouth and then put some water on your head and send you to school. That way your mind will never be right and you can never learn properly in your school. The day only when you get up at least 3-4 hours before going to the school, then only you can do a proper job at your school. It's not for you, even for the people going to the office also. A person, at least they should get up 4 hours before going out for their work or school. Only then they'll be able to achieve their target perfectly. Sorry, I think it's getting late. I'm holding. Sorry, sir, 2.7. Yeah, who will read? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Apuryamanamatalapratiஷ்ഠம் समुद्रमाप प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् तद्वत् कामयं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. Translation. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but it always still, can alone achieve peace, and do not the man who strives to satisfy such desires.
Yeah. So here we have to be very clear that as we have already discussed, our desire should be cut on day one. If you just start feeding the desire first, okay, this is small thing I'll do, then the second day the desire will increase. Once we start fulfilling our desires, the desires multiply. If you cut it on day one, then the desires won't grow. The person who is not disturbed by the instant flow of desires that enters like rivers into the ocean, which is never being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy the desire. See, if you see, the river has a lot of water, but lot of water keeps flowing into the ocean. The ocean, the level of the ocean does not get disturbed by the inflow of rivers. If the level of ocean starts increasing because of the inflow of the ocean rivers, what will happen? The ocean will come and as floods to the land, and people will get everything will get submerged. So that's how when here he is comparing the rivers with the desires and the ocean with the human beings. That means when the desire come and hit the ocean, it should not get disturbed. It should be still like that only. It should not get disturbed. Okay. So we have to cut our desires on day one. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Vihaya kamanya sarvan umam sarati nispriha nirmamo nirahankara shashantim adigacchati. Translation. A person who has given up all desire for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace.
So here Krishna is summarizing what all we have discussed till now. A person who has given up all desires from sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all the sense proprietorship and is devoid of false ego. The main thing, the root cause for all our desires and all our anger and lust is ego. This is one what we have to go. See, anything, why do we get anger? When we think that why should he say that to me? Why I'm not having it when he is having it? That is what is ego. When that is gone, he alone can attain the real peace. The moment we start thinking about me, why not for me, why me, that is the time when a person will really become a sthita prajna. That means if we do this, we have discussed about the 8 stages of falling down, which will not happen. Okay, 2.72, the last sloka of this chapter. Yeah. Yeah, Harshit, yeah, Dikshit Prasad, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. एषा ब्राह्मीं स्थितः पार्थ नयनं प्राप्य विमुह्यति स्थित्वा अनरिकालेऽपि ब्रह्मानिर्वाणशान्ति. Translation: that is the way of spiritual and godly life, of pertaining which a man is not delivered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Right. And that is the way of spiritual and godly life. That means attaining Chitta Prajna, not getting attached with the sense material desires, is the way of spiritual life. After attaining which a man is not bewildered, that means nothing will disturb him. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, if you can reach that stage, if not the whole life, at the hour of death, that means we should not think that, okay, now I'll enjoy, at the time of death I'll get this. You cannot get this unless we do practice from day one. You cannot get that at the time of death, because that time, if we don't practice it from our childhood, that time we'll have desires. I am dying, why should I die? I want to live for 10 more days so that I can complete this work, I can take care of my children, I can write these properties in my wife's name. Things like this, desires will come. So only when we practice it from from day one, then only we will get we will not have attachments. One can enter into the kingdom of God. So to enter into the kingdom of God, this is what is required. This is the way of spiritual and godly life. We should not have any sense material desires. Only then we will remember Krishna at the time of death, and we will enter into the kingdom of God. So when we are going, we will think about Krishna, and then we will reach Krishna's abode. Okay, right. So this is end of this chapter. Okay, so I'm happy we completed second chapter. I didn't want to break the second chapter, so that is why I have disturbed all of you at this at 8 o'clock in the night. We have completed. I'm very happy. So yeah, you people can unmute yourself. So we have completed this one.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. So wait.
Mataji, attendance పంపలేదు.
పంపిస్తానమ్మా. Yeah, thank you.
మాతాజీ అర్జునుడు నేను యుద్ధం చెయ్యను అని ఎందుకంటారు మాతాజీ అర్జునుడు?
నువ్వు కథంతా ఇని ఇప్పుడు నన్ను ఈ ప్రశ్న అడిగితే ఎట్లా? నువ్వు ఫస్ట్ చాప్టర్ విన్నావా? ఫస్ట్ చాప్టర్ లో 5 రీజన్స్ చెప్పాడు కదా, చెప్పాడా? చెప్పిన తర్వాత ఇప్పుడు అడిగితే ఎట్లా చెప్పు? అయ్యే అందుకే అన్నాడు. సరేనా? ఆ పాత ఈను తెలుస్తుంది. సరేనా?
మాతాజీ మీరు ఎవ్రీ క్లాస్ ది రికార్డింగ్ గ్రూప్ లో పంపిస్తారా మాతాజీ?
పంపిస్తున్నా కదమ్మా, ఎవ్రీ క్లాస్ ది రికార్డింగ్ కదా. ఇవాళ నైట్ కే పెట్టేస్తాను నేను. 1 minute టైం.
మాతాజీ మీరు రికార్డింగ్ పెట్టింది, మీరు రికార్డింగ్ పెట్టింది నేను చూడలేదు మాతాజీ.
ఎందుకని? అమ్మ చూస్తా ఉంటుంటారు. చూడు.
సరే మాతాజీ, నేను ఒకసారి చెక్ చేస్తాను మాతాజీ.
ఓకే సరే, నేను
హరే కృష్ణ మాతాజీ.
నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ థర్డ్ చాప్టర్ స్టార్ట్ చేయనా, లేకపోతే నేను ఇప్పుడు అటెండెన్స్ పోస్ట్ చేశాను, మార్క్ చేయండి. ఇక్కడ మనకి రామానుజుల వారి స్టాచ్యూ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేశారు హైదరాబాద్ లో, తెలుసా మీ అందరికి? బిగ్ స్టాచ్యూ.
తెలుసు మాతాజీ, మేము క్లాసెస్లో అది
మాతాజీ అటెండెన్స్ ఇంకా రాలేదుగా చాట్ లో.
ఉండు ట్వంటీ సంబడి ఇండివిజువల్.
నేను సండే పేపర్ మీద చూసినాను మాతాజీ. అది
ఉండు, ఒక్క మాటతో సమాధానం చెప్పండి, అన్ని మాటలు చెప్పొద్దు. సో if you are I have also visited that place. I was very such a huge thing is constructed, that means he must be a great man ani I studied about
ప్రధానమంత్రి మోడీ గారు నిల్చొని ఉన్నారు.
Amma,
ఒక
ఒక్క నిమిషం.
పేజ్ వచ్చింది
Will you
న్యూస్
allow me to
పేపర్.
talk? Wait, Rohan. Will you allow me to complete? I am not interested who has inaugurated, whether Modi is there or somebody else is there. Please allow me to complete. Just because I am unmuted, don't keep on talking. Are you interested in knowing about Ramanujulu? If you are interested about that great saint, next week I want to take class on him. Are you interested?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
we are very
Mataji,
much
interested.
Okay, then next week I'll take class. Next class will be 90% on Saturday, not on Sunday, because again next Sunday also I have to go out of station. It will become late. So next class definitely I'll take it on Saturday evening. Okay. So that day I will talk about, we'll discuss about Ramanujulu. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right.
Okay, Mataji.
Now if you have any.
ఓకే మాతాజీ.
Okay. Right.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.